Well, a very good morning to you. Today is Tuesday actually, and of course the 25th of July 2023, and we are here SMARTIMES Business to give you the very best. My name is Masika Tsime, and later on I will be joined with Andrew Barije with us. And of course I welcome you to this beautiful morning. Hope you are on your way to work or probably preparing yourself to work. But we are here, your daily Kickstarter, to give you the very best. And of course we have a lot in store for you. If I were you, I would sit and really wait for today being a Tuesday. Yesterday, I know most of you were, in a certain way of, from weekend, and of course you're transitioning remind to the week. But today, I believe you're set to carry on the week. And of course, thank you for keeping it locked to Smart 24 TV. We always love your audience, and of course, we believe that everything we deliver to you, you learn from it and pick a leaf from it. And of course, don't forget to trade with the markets on Zabu. And of course, they will be opening up at 8:15 to 5:15 p.m. And of course, that is in the evening, just strictly 8 hours of work. Of course, that is, we had actually the news roundup for recap actually for those that missed out yesterday's bulletin, and I believe you've had a feel of what was yesterday, and of course, very many things transpired yesterday, and I believe you've had a feel of today. Let's go for a short commercial break. We shall be right back.
Indeed, this year we are celebrating 25 years of EABC existence, what we call Silver Jubilee celebration. It is exciting that the treaty establishing East African community does recognize the role of the private sector in driving integration agenda. So EABC has been at the forefront of driving integration, ensuring that the integration is market-led, private sector-driven integration. So as a voice for the private sector across the region, we've done a lot of work in terms of capacity building for our members, in terms of advocacy for policy changes, in terms of engaging the government, in terms of creating a conducive environment for the private sector to do business. So with that, we've seen the growth of intra-regional trade from 10% to 24% as I speak now. So that growth has been strongly accompanied or occasioned by the work of EABC. So that's why we are very proud in terms of growing a shared prosperity in the EAC by advocating for the removal of barriers to trade. A number of barriers have been removed. We are talking about around 257 NTBs that have been removed across the region. We have seen a lot of value chain moving across the region. We've ensured that the business environment in the EAC is conducive in terms of movement of goods, movement of people, movement of capital. We see a number of banks doing business across the region. I may speak about Equity Bank, KCB Bank. That has been enabled by the work of EABC. So that movement, that integration, which is the private sector-led, has really yielded a positive benefits. So that's why we are celebrating our 25th year with the view that the region, EAC region, remains a competitive region in terms of private sector investment, in terms of private sector growth, in terms of our economies being resilient and being sustainable. So I think there is a lot to celebrate. There's a lot we can talk about with regard to achievements, but there's still, as you highlighted, there's still a number of challenges that we are grappling with. Currently, we are grappling with external shocks that are impacting on our people, especially the recent Russia-Ukraine, in terms of the food security in the region. We're also looking at the price levels for some essential products have risen up. So we need to really build a very strong, robust and sustainable production, including agriculture production, including our commitment to light manufacturing. We need to ensure that we create a conducive environment for the EAC to industrialize, to add value to its product, especially agro-related products. We must ensure that we create employment for the youth. Currently, the region is grappling by unemployment among our youth, but we can do a lot. Once the business environment is conducive, our youth are able to innovate, they're able to create opportunities, they're able to take advantage of the enormous potential we have in the region, including our natural resources.
Well, that is it. The CEO of the East African Business Council, as he elaborated more on what they have achieved for the past 25 years, and of course, including the challenges. Of course, if the East African Business Council actually is an association of the private sectors and, of course, cooperatives in the East African community, East African countries, because by then there were 5 and now they're increasing in number. And of course, they enable competitiveness and of course the private sector, regional and global competitiveness in trade and investment. I hope you had. There is a need for actually, I must say, for inter-regional trade for growth. The fact that we've been having challenges when it comes to trade within the East African bloc. So definitely, if we can patch that up, definitely we shall have a good business interaction between the East African countries. And of course, he was advocating for building capacities within the region. So definitely that was it. John Bosco Karisa, CEO of East African Business Council, right there as he celebrated 25 years. Now I'm joined with Andrew Barije here with me. Andrew, good morning.
Morning, Masi. How are you?
I'm very well. How was your night? How was your morning? How was your journey to get to work? How was the cold breeze in the morning?
Yeah, it's pretty fine. I mean, it's pretty cool. I don't know whether we're transitioning a little bit to see some rains coming through.
I believe the seasons are predictable.
Because anything can happen.
You know, it's weird how I saw Nsenene recently in the market, and I was wondering. But
you know, actually talking about that, I know there are people that it's like how you rear. I don't know whether it's the right word to use, but how people keep poultry, you know. So there are people that actually keep grasshoppers. They breed them, they grow, they take care of them. And because there are so many times when they have been off season, but you see them in the markets, then you ask yourself, where are they coming from? You know, yeah, people do that a lot, but it's possible because there are times we've still seen them fly, I mean, into the space. The times they're not supposed to be flying due to the changes into the season. So I can see that is and anything can happen right now where we are, not just in Uganda but the entire world at large.
Yes, it's actually possible. But of course, we are looking at the East African Business Council. Yesterday, they were celebrating 25 years of existence.
Yeah. Yes. Today they have a gathering. Actually, it's the 25 years are going to be celebrated today. Yeah, yesterday was just a recap on what they have been able to do in the past years. But you see, the absolute challenge is that thinking about the East African community, it's more of their countries that seem to be benefiting from it more than others. Yeah, because now take a look at of recent when we've had issues about the borders, Kenya of course kind of trying to hinder our commodities to pass through in there, and then you try to ask yourself what's the relevancy of the East African community. Because I was actually in touch with somebody and I was telling them of recent a company that laid off workers since some of its potential source of income, which was obtained through exportation to Kenya, was blocked.
The milk.
Of the milk, and people were blocked in there. And I was trying to tell her this whole aspect. Why are these borders still in existence if we say we're talking about a one East Africa, one market East Africa? And of course, she was talking about the aspect of leaders getting together, like leaders into these countries getting together to come into some sort of an understanding. But, well, regardless of that, I don't know how that is really going to be. And hope the East African Business Council is at the state, of making sure that actually this is, followed up seriously, not to be taken as something really small. I think it would be something of great importance amongst all these achievements, because I believe, despite the fact that they have spoken about the achievements they have had for the past 25 years, then I think they need to address matters of, why as some nations still are putting up considerations like borders.
Yeah, borders.
Why are we still seeing borders? We need to be free, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
free entry and exit.
Yeah, free entry and exit in terms of that. So I think that is something I urge that is the CEO of the East African Business Council to really look into through. Why do we still have borders put in place? Most especially, we've had lots of issues with Kenya. It's not the first time, of course.
Yes, our maize.
Yeah.
Then our milk. Then
maize, milk, and all that. So if we are talking about 25 years, of success, and talking about establishing, because he mentioned something about them succeeding to grow the private sector. And he mentioned something here, I think it was in line with policy advocacy when it comes to, let me see here, the entity has pioneered the growth of interregional trade, okay, to some extent, but there is this aspect where he said capacity building in terms of advocacy has been achieved too, So we need to see it beyond, because if you can influence policies, that means policies are more to do with the political figures in a given country suggesting an opinion, in regards to trade, agreeing on something. So as the East African Business Council, before they wait for these leaders into these countries, before we wait for the Ministry of Trade to go to Kenya and all that, they should be the first people to really take a step.
Yes, of course, because it's their business council, and of course they integrate, they make sure that all the East African countries are in one accord. So definitely, you find one country is resistant, that means it's going to have, we are going to have some issues when it comes to cross-border businesses, or maybe having our goods delivered to other countries where you have to pay fees, and it's too much really. And of course the substandard, I hear substandard produce, I don't know, I feel like we need to harness and borrow ideas. How do you do it? How do you make sure that maybe if you feel like our produce are substandard, can you at least give us a tip or two and how we can improve our yields and make sure we also bring to you when the things are okay. So definitely, I believe he also mentioned a few challenges. Of course, they're aware of the challenges, and of course, with 25 years, I believe that from year 1 to 25, there's been a little bit of change. Though there's a little bit of change that has happened. Though there is still that border thing that needs to be erased, and then we can have free access into the countries, because we are one now. Yeah,
we need to. We need to have that.
Yes.
If we are to really proceed in that way. Well, I guess right about now, let's cross over and take a look at what's happening into the press. Well, we have the Daily Monitor here, the new vision. I get the new vision actually. Masika Tim is going to be taking us through the Daily Monitor, what's really happening. Maybe let us start. What's making headlines in there?
Oh, of course, making headlines. The big story last week and this week, UNBS, the ED of UNBS has IGG orders police to arrest UNBS boss Ebiru. Actually, I think this story is bigger. I think he's just one of the few that has been singled out.
Yeah, so you mean there are other people that have been doing that?
A lot, Andrew. Very many, but he has been singled out as one of the victim as a, what is it called? The one person they pick out to show the rest. We are coming for you.
We're coming for you.
So definitely, his case is still on. He was forced to go on a leave, and of course they're going to appoint a new ED very soon. I don't know if they have already. I had rumors a little bit there and here, but of course we shall know. And of course 3,000 teachers failed to graduate. Saying
sad.
what a shame. Heads of training institutions divert fees students paid for examination, convection and transcripts to meet operational expenses, arguing that 1,800 shillings government gives in capitation grant for each trainee teacher. Daily upkeep and disbursement is irregular. So they give them some little bit of upkeep. 1,800.
1,800.
This is
shillings.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, anyway, but of course, I think it contributes to, I think there have been training. There was a thing about training teachers, these grade teachers. They now at least to go for a diploma, or those that are in diploma to go for bachelors. At least you should have a bachelor's for you to be.
The least you should have.
Yes, at least. That is why, because these teachers of ours, I don't know, most students will tell their primary schools what they went to study for. Really, primary didn't pay off that much.
So primary 7 pass lip. It's not of that weight, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, now getting to the new vision here, I can see doctors warn on dire health consequences, and I can see chicken on market less with HIV drugs. That is something very sad, so strange too. And also we see for those ladies that would love to turn careers into being investors, we see how Namiro, who has been of course pointed out here, turns career women that is into investors. Of course, talking about career women, you're so much taken up by, you're employed in other words, but how can you become self-employed? So you'll find out a father
that chicken on market
with HIV drugs.
What is happening?
Yeah,
this is quite absurd. So you know what, I am going to start rearing my own chicken and feed them on local.
So what if even the feeds that you're feeding them, because it can transcend from the chicken and it's put on the plants, right?
These not planned chicken. No, these local ones.
Local ones. I'm saying, but you still have to feed them.
What, to feed them with the drugs?
It's possible that even what you're going to feed them is infested with drugs. What if it happens? Because if it can happen to the livestock, that means it can also happen to the plants, right?
Unless it comes to issues of vaccination, of vaccinating the chicken or the hens, they eat these random feeds they find on the rice, what. What's on? We want to go back to the time where we had these days, you prepare chicken, it doesn't even smell
that is true.
Yes,
that is
it doesn't have the taste, the natural.
even meat actually is the same.
Yes.
Not only chicken.
Yes.
Now, of course, I can see Vision Group joining campaign to corporate governance. I can see Tulume here, Fiona Wall, Chief Executive Officer, and of course Olga Binora acting as Head of Corporate Banking at NCBA to make sure that that is really put into consideration.
And of course, our very own, yes.
I guess we are getting into the traffic here. We shall be proceeding that later. It's 20 minutes past 7. Of course, the images we are observing there are coming in from, that's one day. Yeah, so you can see the situation seems to be a little bit of calm according to what I'm observing in here. You can see the vehicles that are coming in all the way from Makerere, heading to the different destinations. They seem, that route has quite a number of traffic lights. And yeah, it's calm actually. If you're coming in from, for the people that are actually coming in from areas like Kasubi, yeah, Kasubi is, and majority use that route. Yeah, you're coming in from Namongona too. Yeah, no, Nakulabi. Sorry, I mistake. Where is Namongona from?
Namongona is Kasubi, Kasubi.
Yes.
Yes, that's like Kasubi, Kalawa.
So Nakulabi and Namongona, are they close to each other? I confused those places. They're almost in the same area.
They're almost. There's the lights somewhere there.
All right. Very interesting. Yeah, so remember that Makerere route has quite a number of traffic lights. So there are quite lots of stopovers.
Today people are relaxed actually on Tuesday compared to Monday.
They were relaxed on Tuesday compared to Monday.
Yes, Monday is always rush hour. People are rushing to work. Like, it's insane. It's really insane.
But I've let Mondays, for the past 3 weeks, Mondays, actually, there is not really a lot of congestion in town. And it's really surprising. I don't know what's up, because our school children are in school. I mean, because they're the biggest contributors when it comes to congestion.
Traffic.
But I'm not seeing anything happening there.
On Monday,
honestly,
today?
Yeah, even today was okay. Even yesterday wasn't really that strange, like, how there is a way, of course, we anticipate Mondays to be,
People, by the way, people are a bit relaxed when it comes to work lately. People arrive at the time they feel like they should arrive. People do not.
Tired.
They're tired. We should say that.
Why are they tired?
I don't know, maybe what they are getting is not really enough, and they're like, this moment people will be like, oh, kati nkolerachi. Even if I wake up, I know it's the same thing. So definitely, I think that is what.
But you see one thing I realized. There is being in a state of nkolerachi, but I think it's better to have one than have zero, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So, even if it means for you to wake up early for that one, it's worth it. Because the day you lose it.
I know the day you lose it. It's one. It won't be a funny story.
I know. You'll be craving for 100, right? You have one. So one seems late. And you seem to be working for the one. But the day you wake up when you also don't have that one. There's a Luganda saying, I don't know how to say it. Anyway, let me first leave that. All right. So you can see the Red Coffee is doing whatever it takes to make sure they put the traffic under control. And yes, so these are, I guess these vehicles they're calling in are coming in from, they must be coming from Bombo Road. Bombo Road. Yes, and so our eyes, as we can see there, that's the route adjacent in there. And that is coming from Mulago for the people that are, coming from Mulago roundabout, connecting in here. But of course, we know that Mulago roundabout to be really one of those routes that seem to be so much congested. It's really tricky. And majority of the people always try to find ways they can actually avoid that. So those vehicles are coming in from Bombo Road. I think Bombo Road is shared by people coming in from Gaza. Gaza, what else? Which other place? Gaza, Kalere. Hope I'm right, Katwe. I must say, I know you don't know these places. You've not, have you? But you can try walk. Yeah? You've grown up here in the city center. So when I talk about Bombo Road,
I know Bombo Road, definitely. That
because the name sounds Chiganda, and you're not used to Uganda, So the situation is like that, as you can see. Of course, now. Those are vehicles coming in from Kampala, and they're heading towards either Wandagea or actually some are going to be heading to Makerere Hill, heading there. Yeah, quite lots of destinations in there. But people that are coming in from town, and they're coming to they've been coming this side of Wandagea. It seems okay. But of course,
taxis coming from town are usually empty.
coming from town.
Yeah, they're going to pick like people
to pick people. Yeah, true.
Stops.
Yeah, very true. Because
now in the morning, who wakes up at 5 to 2? Who's always in town?
But you see, there are people that work
in the night.
Okay, no, like for example, there are people that probably have come from Nakawa and they're heading to Wandegea. So those are the taxis probably. Okay, some are empty, some are not empty. Yeah, there are places which harbor both people, which are both residential and people still, and also at the same time they are workplaces. Now like Wandegea.
I ask you, have you ported those those buses?
Not yet, actually.
Those buses are really. I haven't really. I would want to.
Haven't yet.
I feel like I should, but it is low. It is usually. I don't think people breathe in that.
No, that's no.
I don't know if
that's if you put them late in the night.
I don't know. Is
not
it
late, but around 8, 7.
It is packed
at the rush hours, yeah.
To the field, and the windows are a bit.
But during the day, they are very fine.
Yes, like during the day, because people, they are busy but evening hours.
Yeah, they also do excess. Well, that is it. It's 37 minutes past 7, and that is it for the traffic updates this morning. And of course, before we get into the break, don't forget the markets on the Zebra platform, which anytime from now are going to be opening. Now, for you to be a part of this, it's quite very simple. Start today into hash should be the USSD code which will avail in this, as you'll be given options where you'll be in position to buy government bonds and securities for a fee of just 15,000 Ugandan shillings. Now, the markets will be opening at exactly 8:15 a.m. running all the way to 3:15 p.m. East African time. This is effective from Monday up to Friday, apart from the weekends and the public holidays when these markets cannot be accessed. But apart from that, you have the rest of the days to capitalize and make yourself quite some huge profits, something which I believe is very influential and instrumental for your financial growth and development. Remember, on top of Start 92 hash, you have to register with your national identification number for you to proceed efficiently without having quite any disturbances. So Zabo made this a reality. It's the 21st century. Bonds and securities is the new normal. Why don't you own bonds and securities? Now, Zabo simply says, my money, my future. And all Tech East Africa simply tells you, do something new for yourself. It's there 2023. Well, you're still watching Smart Men's Business. Andrew Barija with Masi Katsumi here. Let's get into the break, and definitely when we return, we shall be taking a look at what's happening on the East African community and international.